Hello, doing a new camera angle here for the Chopin Étude Opus 10 number 1. So I'm going to try just the first phrase, but thinking in a longer term for what happens later on in the piece. But for the first phrase, basically the first 8 measures, I'm going to see what happens if I bring out this register from middle C chromatically up to F. And then similarly 3 octaves up, C to F the same way. So all those notes, all 6 notes, is it 6? Yeah, all 6 notes here, then all 6 notes here are going to be prepared. So what would happen, I think, is going to be something along these lines where I'm just going to try to play those notes. So it's interesting. I'm obviously doing it out of time, but just to kind of follow those voices through, and let's see what happens. Okay, here's a preliminary trial setup for the Chopin Etude number 1, Opus 10 number 1. Starting with some bolts in the register from C to F, and then again 3 octaves higher, so that every time it gets to that area it goes, highlights those areas. So they kind of have a call and response aspect to that, where the usually it's beat 2, I guess. I'll pick up to beat 2, and then the downbeat of the next measure, and it comes back down. And so there's sort of a dialogue between those two voices I'm trying to create. It took a while to find the right spot for this particular piano and for this particular day and for these particular bolts to sort of still agree more or less with these two registers just on their own. And then I have to change quite a bit in how I play so that it balances right. Hello, just going to try demoing the first phrase. I took off the preparation on the D, D4. I think it's going to work a little better for that phrase. And I am adding a few things. I'm playing it very slow with rubato going up and down. And I'm adding a melody. I'm bringing out an extra octave in certain spots. And I'm also really toning down the left hand, sometimes dropping the octave for just single notes. So I took off the preparations, and now it's just a piano without any added stuff. And I want you to compare it with what the original, closer to the original intention was for this etude. just a quick reflection on day 3 of Alloy. Working on the Chopin Etude #1 was really fruitful. I found some really interesting things when I prepared this range from C to F, basically C4 to D4, and then the higher range here, 3 octaves up, from C to F as well. And I want to try to experiment more with this range in terms of adding something that kind of deadens the sound, perhaps. It'd be an interesting effect. And then, of course, this range is like open to something too. So each octave kind of has its own unique possibilities because it's so well written contrapuntally that it keeps addressing each range on every pass through each chord. So there's a lot of really interesting possibilities there. In addition, I would want to try this with Bach's Prelude in C major from Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 1. I think it would be a good companion piece to work on simultaneously.